Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 12th, 2020, which our hosts, Peace Record 2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hello.
It's the last batch of 4 episodes, because our next batch is 5 episodes. In our first
that's kind of the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which works, because the last 5 episodes kind of roll into each other fairly well.
Which also kind of sucks because, you know, last 5 episodes.
Yeah. But we're covering episodes 13 through 16 this week. More or less. Did I put the wrong numbers?
I think you did. You super did?
Oh, god damn it.
You super did?
I didn't think I did these yesterday.
That should be 17 to 20.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when I'm not on a deadline. And I'm just like, oh, I can get these done whenever, tomorrow, and I do. And then I don't pay attention to the episode numbers of all things.
You know what's worse? I didn't pay attention to that either. The only the initial thought that I had right there was, did he open the wrong notes? And then I flipped over and I'm like, oh, I see what happened. Never mind.
Oh, you also know that thing about, oh yeah, update the title so I don't have to do it when I do all the highlights tomorrow.
You didn't. Did you?
Guess what doesn't matter?
Updating the title because it's 2 separate videos.
Yeah, because they'll keep the first one, not the second one. For some reason, the history thing on the channel doesn't work anymore for who updated titles. It's like dated, the last one's dated like 2 months ago.
I have to wonder if it's because we're using the OBS plugin for it. If maybe that doesn't log it properly.
I'm not. I updated through the dashboard.
Oh, you did?
Yes. That's how I always update the title, and it's working, so...
Then that's Twitch's fault. I mean, to be fair, that don't really matter.
Yeah.
We know the title is updated by 1 of 3 people. 2 of which are right here.
Yeah. The only problem is if I forget to show it on screen for like co-op or Epic Gaming, it's just like, fuck, what was the title this week? Oh no. And then the announcements are cleared for that week and it's like, oh no, I don't have any more. I just gotta scramble and come up with one. I bet that does do that already.
I didn't know that you've had to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Feel like we need a backup plan for when I don't have a switch over for those then.
I would say just put the title in the chat, in the Discord chat, because it will just be there for me to look.
True.
Anywho, correction! It is 17 through 20. It is the correct episode numbers.
Please tell me when you updated the dashboard you had the right episode numbers, because I did not look.
It's now updated with the correct numbers. It had the wrong numbers last night before. It now has the correct numbers.
So
look, I have to deal
for
with
those
people. Wondering
why the title was messed up with what was on the stream, that's because the stream was right, because I'm the one that did it.
Essentially.
And I've got everything set up to where it shows the previous weeks, so it's pretty easy. It's just add 4 to it.
Yeah. Look, folks, I have to deal with people all day. Sometimes I'm not in the best mindset.
I mean, I do too.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, how'd you feel going into these 4 episodes?
I kind of felt good getting back to it. I kind of keep doing the whole wait till the day of the show to watch them. That's probably for the best. Because it was one of those that when I got through with 20, I was like, yeah, I have to close this tab now.
No, you can't watch 21 yet, especially because that is quite literally the Alia Seireji fight. So, yeah, it's just been really nice to watch Build Fighters. I've been really enjoying going back to it.
Except for you've been watching the episodes like almost a week in advance.
Pretty much. Look, that's just how good this show is. Where I'm just that invested in this show, and I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna watch them now, and I have to wait a literal whole week to watch them. It definitely shows how much more invested I am in this show than I am Ichigo.
Very true. I mean, with me, I'm more do it so it's fresher on my mind, because you get the chance to come back with the notes, so it really doesn't matter if you watch it early. When you wind up doing up the notes, it's kind of fresh on your mind then.
Yeah, I more or less get to go, all right, what happened this episode? Forward. Okay.
That was also the reason why the week that you kind of couldn't do the notes, and I had to start in on it. I was like, I can try, because I was in the process of finishing up those at the moment, and I'm like,
Look, I can't help it. I suffered a power outage right when I was going to do the notes.
It was one of those that was why I was like, I can try. I can't make any guarantees.
Look, it's fine. It's fine. Alright, so shall we get into the episodes proper?
I guess we should.
Alright, we kick off with episode 17, Model of the Hearts. We get a little backstory, seeing how Mao became the legendary Gunpla builder. I derped on the word there for some reason. That he is known for. And also how he met his master, who whipped his monkey ass the first time, because quite literally this is Karate Kid.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But we come back to the president, as everyone is waking up to the day that the proper tournament starts. Except for Seireji, who slept in.
Because, of course.
Yes, and are only able to make it to the stadium because Rinko woke them up. But when they arrive, they get to see the brackets, and Mao will be their first opponent. And they are, of course, excited about this because, oh, hey, we get to fight Mao legitimately for the first time. And in the notes, I decided to drop in the bracket just so I could tell you folks at home how the bracket's going to go. And you could probably see from how the brackets lay out how the fights are going to go.
And pretty much you can see that, we're only focusing on the left side of the bracket, because there is like one match of importance on the right side.
Pretty much.
Because I was sitting there looking at it, I'm like, well, okay. We kind of got to see 3 of the matches on the right side. And by that, I mean we got to really see the outcomes of 2 of them and 1 of those matches. Right. And at just about every match on the other side of the bracket has been seen it to some degree.
Yep. So the bracket from left to right, top to bottom, we have Ramen Khan versus Riccardo Fellini. You can guess who wins that one, because you probably will only recognize one name out of that matchup. The same with the next one, because it's Peter Morris against Alia. Then we have George Laritas versus Niels. Then Say and Reggie versus Mao. And then on the right side is Leon Ziplin versus John A's McKenzie. Then it's Lula Satan or Satan. Is that Satan? Santana. Okay. Santana versus Patrick Mannequin or McQuinn. And then it's the Rentaro brothers versus the Wang. And then it's Justin Vox versus Yuki. As you can see...
Oh, you didn't want to say his extremely long, drawn-out name?
I am not saying his drama title. It's fucking Yuki. He can say he is this drama title all he wants. You are still Yuki because you are referred to as Yuki by most of the main cast.
I mean, to be fair, even he cuts the drama title down.
So yeah, as you can see, Say, Reggie, and Yuki are on the opposite sides of the brackets. Guess what your final match is? So you can clearly see Say and Reggie's path to victory. Because they'll fight Mao, then they'll fight Niels, and then they'll fight the winner of Ricardo and Alia.
Which we actually find out by the end of this.
Right. And then Yuki will pretty much demolish everyone in his path, because they're all jobbers. Every single one of them.
Yep.
We kind of hard stacked one side of the bracket. I wonder who was in charge of putting together the bracket.
Mm-hmm. Although, you know, the one in charge of putting together the bracket kind of failed at his job. Like, repeatedly failed at his job. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah. But the shout of the bracket actually comes with Niels and Ricardo talking about it, because he notes that Ricardo notes that both him and Niels have easy first rounds, because jobber and jobber.
Yeah.
What do you expect? But he does go on to note that Niels will be going up against the winner of Say, Reggie, and Mao. And he proceeds to go, well, I know who's going to win this. As we cut to Mao, trying to piece together a winning strategy against the build strike, and finds out, oh no, I can't win. Build strike is too good. He's too strong. Super mode is too good for me. I can't laser it. Because that's kind of my one big move, is giant laser.
And he kind of can't do hand-to-hand because, you know, Reggie's kind of good at that.
Yeah. But this leaves him frustrated as we cut to more backstory as we see how he first interacted with this master, and more or less the two of them became friends because Mao wanted to know the secrets of his school of Gunpla. And he just went, I'll teach you this as you do chores. And then eventually it's just like, no, you've already learned the secret. You just don't know it. Congratulations. But we do also skip through 2 fights of that day. That they're like, oh, these were amazing fights that you didn't see. I don't know which ones they are, because I'm not sure what the bracket order is. Because I assume it's the order I read it, right?
I would think.
Because that's the order we go in throughout the series, is from left to right, top to bottom. Actually, no, it's not, because Niels say Reggie is before Ricardo Alia, which is the reverse order. Oops.
I actually don't know, because wasn't it after Say and Reggie's battle that we saw the Renato brothers kind of demolish?
No, it was before. Actually, technically, Yuki versus the twins is the first fight of the second round. So they went in reverse order.
I mean, and when they demolish Luang. Wasn't that after the fight? Yeah.
Yeah, it was after the fight.
So that at least means the left side of the bracket went first, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think... crap, I noted her name. Baker, the secretary. She noted that Say and Yuki were going to fight Niels.
Yeah, because his match was already done at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how they did it, because that seems like all over the place.
It's in order of dramatic importance.
Yeah.
I guess.
Like, that's the only thing there could be.
Meh. But now that we've skipped ahead a whole bunch, back in the one episode we're in at the moment, we've skipped the two fights, and Say and Reggie see Mao head out, and he goes to meet with his master, and he goes to him going like, I need a way to beat the Build Strike. Teach me how to beat Build Strike. And he goes, all right, I'll teach you how to beat Build Strike, and it proceeds to kick the shit out of him for a while. Until I guess Mao passes out, that he's just like, well, I'm about to put you to bed. Here's a note telling you you're dumb. You already got the secret. You're fine. And go have fun. I'll see you when the fight happens. Back over to the stadium, Gina actually runs into Misaki from the spa episode. The person Mao has a crush on. Bet you weren't expecting her to come back, of all people. But she leads her to her seat, and we see that Mao makes it in time, so him, Say, and Reggie can have their fight, and they proceed to just beat each other up. Because Mao decides, you know what? You know how you start this match? Fire the big cannon! Because it destroys the absorb shield, because...
Everything does. I swear that thing's not hardly gotten used.
Yeah, I think Say's used it like 4 times, or Say and Reggie have used it like 4 times, and it's been destroyed just as many times as well.
Mm-hmm.
The poor thing, look, it does its job as a shield because it is meant to be targeted, and it does it. So,
unfortunately, it doesn't do its other job.
Yeah, its most important job of absorb lasers so we can power the Gundam. Although apparently that doesn't matter anymore. We could just have a tank of it at the ready.
Apparently. Of course, I guess at the same time, that's not super surprising. I mean, Say is the same one that designed a backpack that increased the Gundam's power.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I could completely see him being like, I'm going to learn from that, and something else is going to hold this power. And we're just going to, have it.
Yeah, we're just going to access our super mode without going through the whole rigmarole of having to absorb a laser first. Because that takes effort. What if we could just turn on super mode when we needed it? And by super mode, I mean the one super mode we need. Because we're not using the other two. Because I guess both of those need the shield to work.
Probably.
But we find out that Mao, instead of using the whole satellite or whole laser beam on the moon to power his big fuck off cannon, it's technically just solar radiation. So since they're in space, there's a whole bunch of solar radiation, which means I can shoot my big fuck off cannon multiple times, back to back if necessary.
For all the days.
Yep. So they then proceed to pretty much break each other's guns and different armaments one by one until they're left with just swords. Or, well, a sword in Mao's case, and just fists in Reggie's case, because technically this is the first fight to debut the Build Knuckle as the finisher.
I'm just going to put it out there, I'm assuming becomes the recurring finisher.
Yes, because we get all the variations of the Build Knuckle going forward. Because there are many ways you can punch a man.
I mean, makes sense.
As long as we have enough ways to punch the Build Knuckle, we have enough finishers to cover the rest of the series.
Basically, it's their rider kick.
Pretty much. We also see that up in the stands, Val's Master watches, and he's happy his student is enjoying the fight and is not worried about trying to win. Also, Raul drops by because Raul knows somebody else as well. Because who the fuck should be surprised by this at this point?
Raul knows everyone.
I still want to know Raul's story at this point of just like, alright, you know every important son of a bitch in this fucking series. How? I want to know. How did this happen? How are you literally this respected, this much of a respected person? That like, even Ricardo is like, holy shit, you're wishing me luck. Huh, guess I need that. Like, who are you and what is your story? I say to the most minor of minor characters in the grand scheme of things. Because he's only here to exposit.
Yeah. I almost feel like he's just the personification of the writing team.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, I mean, that kind of... Looking at it now, it's like, yeah, that would kind of make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He technically has a connection to everyone then. He has clearly more knowledge of this than most other people.
And he also knows what people are saying when he is nowhere in the vicinity of them.
Or thinking. You can't forget about that.
Yep, that too.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of like that idea.
Well, as I was saying, Mao and Say and Reggie are down to their last weapons. Mao decides, well, I'm going to plug my sword, the hilt of my sword, into the slot for my big fuck-off gun, and I'm going to make a big old fuck-off sword, because I'm going to use that solar power and solar energy with the thing that my Gundam is supposed to use to make my Gundam glow red and have a big old fuck-off sword. And that's enough to murder you. Maybe.
Well, I mean, you know, sword plus gun equals success. Just look at Gain.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, Say and Reggie at this point decide, we're going to bust out the Build Knuckle because we haven't busted it out yet, technically, with the RG system. And as we soon find out, punch beats sword. Because that's how that works.
Because I guess rock beats scissors, so that's why?
I guess. That's close enough. But yeah, the solar panels on Mao's Gundam don't hold up against the punch power, so it breaks, and then Gundam X Mao, I guess it goes kaboom, and Say and Reggie move on to round 2. After the match, Misaki sees Mao exit the arena, tells him he's awesome, and he's just like, yeah, cool, fine. Because he needs to go by the river, have a quick cry, because honestly, who wouldn't be disappointed of making it this far, this easily too, because Mao's had no troubles this entire time.
Yeah.
He is, like, him and most of the rest of the people that aren't Say and Reggie have had, like, no troubles winning their matches.
It's one of those I can kind of see both. Like, yeah, I get it disappoints him, but at the same time, I feel like it does, but it doesn't as bad because he kind of knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. That's why he can bounce back so quick.
Yeah. And it's one of those, that's why I kind of feel like that works. Because a lot of people, I'd be like, okay, that was quick. But with him, it's like, okay, yeah, he pretty much done worked it out in his head. There was no way he was winning, but he was still gonna try.
Yeah. And also, to be fair to him, he made the top 16 of a world tournament of 90 people. In very much the hard side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Like, that speaks a lot to his capabilities that he only lost in the first round. After qualifying that far and pretty much demolishing everyone in his way.
In the first round of this lopsided tournament.
This lopsided tournament. Honestly, if he was on the other side of the bracket and just had to fight Yuki in like the semifinals, he'd be fine. But I guess we can't have Yuki fight anyone else important until Saiyan Reggie.
Yeah, that's their fight.
Yeah. But while at the riverside, his master drops by, brightening spirits, and he's like, I'm gonna build a better one, and then I'm gonna kick all the ass. It's just like, yep, makes sense. I wish we got to see more of like the intervening time between the end of this series and Build Fighters Try. Because we don't get to see too much between these two time periods. And Mao, unfortunately, like a lot of the main characters from this series, doesn't get to reappear and Try. So, I don't know what Mao does in between here and all of Try. I hope that one day we get like the full crossover of Fighters and Try, that everyone from the original Fighters will come back, because we're promised a world tournament with the Try cast in the Fighters cast. That's the promise at the end of the series, is that will happen. That's the future. And I want that, because I want more or less this tournament bracket, but far more stacked with like main characters. So it's like, oh no, I want an entire series that's just these 16, like just the top 16 of this tournament. It's all people we know, and I want every fucking match.
Yeah, I could see that, because, I mean, like, from this alone, we've almost got half of a bracket kind of deal.
Yeah.
So, I could see that.
And I think there's enough cast members from Try to fill out the rest of the bracket. Like, I want a stacked tournament, and that's just the series. It's just, here's the final tournament. We've gotten through all the we've skipped through all the qualifiers because we don't need to do that again. Here's the proper tournament. Here's everyone important. Let's just see what happens. Just give me that. Just give me more fights.
Okay, you know how you could actually work that, Dan? You could actually still do the qualifiers. Because how many rounds did we actually have?
10 rounds, I think.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Easy solution to that. Skim over a couple, obviously.
Yeah.
But take each of those to kind of show the characters from the past being there, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
That way it kind of sets the tone of, oh, this is actually fixing to happen.
Mm-hmm. My mom just got home, and she hit the car alarm button on accident.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of mad people.
I mean, it doesn't matter. There's not that many people in my neighborhood, so.
I mean, fair.
And there's worse. There has been more noises at night than that. Anyway, to cap off the episode, Say and Reggie catch their breath after the match, but they do end up seeing the aftermath of Luang versus the twins, as the twins pretty much demolish Luang because most of his Gundam explodes, and the twins win, meaning they get to face Yuki in round 2. Oh no!
I wonder what match we'll see next.
That takes us to episode 18, Bloodhounds. We get to see the end of the match proper, again with the Wang's Gundam having all of its joints explode, and then the twins just walk up and just headshot him several times. So just blow him up, I guess. And I guess into more pieces than the explosion of his joints did, because he was in more pieces than, like, the 4. Also, give me a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I need to see it for something, but nope. Anyway, the twins then discuss their fight, the fight later in the day. Or no, Ricardo and Rao end up discussing the fight, wondering what the twins have been concealing, since they haven't really stood out this entire time. And they've just now taken out one of the top contenders. Just how much have they got up their sleeve? Which takes us to them talking about how they want to dumpster Yuki. And the title of Meijin, because fuck them. Fuck them both, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Was there a reason for this?
I don't know, in all honesty. I feel like this is one of those times of just like, there is something missing in this episode, and it's mainly just, why do they want to dumpster him so bad? Because they reference the person before Yuki with the title. And it, in a sense of, I guess you fought him, so I guess is this revenge? Because you got dumpstered by the last one, and now you want to dumpster this one? I guess?
Yeah, I mean...
I honestly don't know.
I am confused on this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, I'm like... If there was a reason for it, then fine. But if it was just to try to... maybe... I mean, it wasn't really a Yuki-focused episode either, so I mean, that's one of those, it was literally focused around the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's one of those, it's like, why did we introduce this late? Like, why wasn't this a thing during all the qualifiers?
Yeah. But, so we continue through the episode. The next day, Mal drops by to hang out with Say and Reggie real quick because he gets to go on a date with Misaki. That he's going to dumpster really bad because he's young and stupid.
Yep.
Incredibly young and stupid.
Emphasis on the stupid part, though.
Mm-hmm. But this takes us, I guess, later in the day where Say's hanging out with China, telling him about all this, and China's like, "Oh, cool! He's taking her on a date," and he's like, "Well, I'll take you on a date after the tournament," and they just have a cute moment. That then gets sidelined because Alia's just here checking out food, And then Reggie shows up, and now it's a double date.
Yep.
Of course it is.
Yep.
She decides to introduce herself as Aina to hide that she's in the tournament. And then say it makes a gun. Yeah. Say it makes a Gundam reference that I don't get, but it's like, okay, cool. I'm sure that makes sense to whoever gets it. I don't. But now Reggie and Isla get to show off their drift compatibility as they proceed to argue in sync and demand food in sync. Because they are too much like each other.
Mm-hmm. Way
Far
too much.
Mm-hmm. But we break this up by checking in with Yuki and Alan, who I might have been calling by the wrong name. Have I called him Alan this whole time? Or
don't know.
Oh, okay, I might have been calling him by the wrong name because I pulled up the wrong article this week for his name. But yeah, him and Alan try to figure out what the secret of the brothers are. And Yuki's just like, well, whatever the trick is, we'll figure it out. And then I'll whoop their asses because, hey, I get to fight seriously now. Because, damn it, I want my fight with Say and Reggie, and I will dumpster everyone in my way. Luckily, this is your only important match before then.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. But that night, the twins shit talk Yugi some more, and they want to dumpster the tile to Meijin. This is where they reference the second one for, again, reasons I don't know. I don't know if this even gets into the recap episode that Yuki does of his backstory.
Probably not.
Probably. But we do check in with Sei and the others as Reggie and Isla continue to be drift compatible. Because, again, they quite literally are the same person.
And it is blatant to everyone around them.
Mm-hmm. But this is when Mal drops by to go, I got dumped in the doghouse because I'm young and stupid, and I went too hard, too fast. And I can just only look at him and go, you fucking deserve it, you dumbass. Get dumpster child, you will learn from this. I hope.
Probably not.
No. Anyway, we cut to the next day, and it's match time! Yuki versus the twins, and we're in some ruined city, and it's more or less a sniper duel for the first part of it. So the twins are up in a tall building, as Yuki's on the ground. Yuki and Alan pretty much figure out, okay, they're in one of these three places, and Yuki just goes, well, what's the easiest way for me to get them to fight me? Blow them all up! Continue to shoot at all three of them until somebody decides to shoot me back.
I mean, that's not wrong.
No. But I love that his first strategy is, if I blow up the buildings hard enough, they'll fight me.
I mean, to be fair, for the most part, his fighting style is punch harder. Hence why him and Reggie make for a pretty good battle.
Yeah. Him and his Gundam, chock full of weapons. That is just like, you know, I could have one weapon, but what if I had all the weapons? And I just had pods that just gave me weapons.
I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm. But the twins are not fazed by this, so they send out their backpack drone with their main gun attached to it to draw fire. And this actually works because it draws off Yuki enough that his main gun gets blown up, and one of his pods gets shot off when he's flying away. That pod actually gets to be important later, because it lands at a fountain that we will come back to. But after getting cornered by the two of them, he decides to back up into this ruined stadium. To try to get a defensive position. But unfortunately, this is a part of the twins' plan. as they proceed to deploy tiny in-scale soldiers that proceed to drop charges on the joints of the Gundam. Why can't he just swat them away?
Reasons.
But as we see, this is exactly how Wang got destroyed, is tiny soldiers put bombs on the joints, blew them up, so Wang was helpless. So they decided to blow them up and make Yuki helpless. Except they saw through this and went, we're going to counter this by putting a ton of grease on the joints so we would spin around, throw them all off, and hopefully not die from the resulting explosion, even though it is still near us. Because it is still close enough to them to cause damage. Because they come limping out of the fire.
I feel like the big goal there was more just to make sure it doesn't do damage to the joints bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like they knew they were taking damage at some point.
Yeah. So now it's an even fight, seemingly. Except the twins apparently have their own super mode. Because of course they do. That's the real secret, is just to have your own super mode that you can just flip on. And it just makes you better.
Basically, this tournament is coming down to, does your Gundam have a super mode? If you can answer yes to this, you might wind up being in it.
Yeah. Also, just to point it out, they dropped the term Transam, which is a super mode in a Gundam series. Guess what Yuki's next Gundam has? If you said Trans Am, you're correct! That's what his next Gundam will have. So, congrats on the foreshadowing, I guess. So anyway, with the super mode, the camper is just pelted with sword strikes and turned into Swiss cheese. As it's backed up to where that fountain was with that other pod. And Yuki decides, fuck this, pulls out the Gatling gun that was in the pod, because I guess that's just one of the things he wants on him at all times. And proceeds to shred the twins' main gunpla with the Gatling gun, and the drone soon follows suit, giving him the win. Although Yuki is mad about it, because the camper took far too much damage for what his title suggests, which leads to a scene later.
Except, doesn't his title more so just suggest that he will always win?
Yes.
So he won. It didn't really matter.
But he didn't win hard enough. He's got to win hard enough. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
I almost feel like that's not so much a knock as far as the title, more so as a knock as far as him personally.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like he feels like he could have done better, and he kind of feels bad that he's caused more work to repair the gunpla.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it's getting thrown in the dumpster, because we're replacing it.
Of course.
But Say and Reggie, who've been watching this fight the whole time, are still excited because, hey, we get to fight Yuki in the future. Yay! And this is when Baker chimes in and is just like, fuck those kids! You fight Niels next! You'll go down to him, damn it! Spoilers. No, they won't. No, they won't, because Say's just gonna go, fuck you, cement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's our first two episodes. How'd you feel about these?
I really don't know how to feel about 18. Because that one feels out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so far with this show, that is probably the first time I've been like, okay, what were they trying to do here? Because it didn't work like they thought it should.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole plot for 18 just comes out of left field, and it's like, ooh.
I think it's one of those cases of Yuki needs an opponent before he gets to do his match against, Sei and Reggie. Who can we have him fight?
Except, really, no, he doesn't. That, or why did it have to be the twins?
Well, it could be Luang, but he's had more interactions with Sei and Reggie. Granted, you could say the same about a twins, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this: we already know Fellini and Isla are having their match.
Mm-hmm.
They both have had interactions, and that still works out the way that it does.
Right.
It's one of those, I don't feel like just being like, oh, well, Luang's had more interactions with Sei and Reggie. No, that really doesn't change a lot. If anything, that would give both sides of that kind of a matchup a reason to keep going.
Yeah. So I understand.
It's one of those, this one feels off. And I don't know what they had to skip as far as writing wise to make it work better.
Yeah. Honestly, the entire left side of the bracket makes far too much sense in my head to really change it. Because, like, setting up Ricardo Alia sets up the gut punch of, okay, like, we've already seen Sei and Reggie draw to Ricardo. So that fight's pretty much left unknown of who would truly win.
Yeah.
And Alia has, like, her complicated situation at play that we get fully expanded upon in the fight. So it leads to the gut punch of the last episode, or the gut punch at the end of that episode, which leads directly into the Sei Reggie Alia fight. Sei Reggie Mao makes sense because, hey, this is one of the fights we haven't gotten to see yet from one of our earliest people that's not Yuki. Let's do this fight as the opening fight of the tournament to give us an idea of, like, how the tournament's going to go.
The Niels fight kind of fits because, I mean, his motivations for even being in the tournament kind of and it really draw him that direction.
Yep, and it advances our plot because it's just like, here's the plot stuff that you're just like, all right, the show has plot. I forgot.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't think that it needed to be restructured. I think it was more we didn't need the twins to beat Luang and let him be the one to go against Yuki.
Yeah.
I feel like if we'd shifted it that way, it wouldn't have been too bad. Because really, all we got out of that was a short-lived surprise that they beat Luang.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't feel like it paid off.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be exactly like I said. It could be they had to skip writing something to make that work better.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first time that I think we've actually had what could be considered a filler episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I can only think of them wanting to do it as a difference in style because you have Yuki, who's the straight-up fighter, and then you have the brothers who are very sneaky and pull tricks. So you want that dynamic to make the fight interesting instead of just, here is fighter v fighter, which is every other fight in the series, more or less. Here's something different.
Yeah, but maybe we could have spun that as a reason as to why Luang has been going through this kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like what his motivations are. Because, I mean, we pretty much know Yuki's there just to win.
Yep.
And to inevitably get his fight against Sei and Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get a lot of motivation as to really why either the brothers or Luang are here.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of are. And it's one of those, it's like, okay.
Yeah, their first appearance in the series is in that montage of people qualifying for the tournament.
Yeah.
So yeah, not the best second episode, but still a good first episode.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like 18 could have been better just with minor changes kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. So, shall we move on to the second half?
I guess we shall.
Alright, we kick off with episode 19, Astray's Blade! We get a quick peek at Niels winning his first round, because we find out, his swords can match the wavelength of beams and go, fuck your beams, more or less. Because he gets a slice them.
Because science.
Pretty much. Sei and Reggie are watching this fight, and they're, of course, impressed by Niels winning the fight. And at this point, Baker approaches Niels with a proposition of, we will give you sponsorship by our company that is totally not against some rule somewhere, considering we're doubling up on sponsorship, technically, with this in this tournament. In exchange for, you murder Sei and Reggie and get them out of the tournament, please.
Except we're not going to actually say who you need to kill.
Pretty much. Niels, seeing the opportunity, goes, yeah, sure, I'll do this, only if you give me a factory tour. And Baker's like, yeah, we'll totally give you that factory tour. Totally. 100%. Totally not lying. And guess what? Not happening. Because Niels soon realizes, wait a minute. They want me to take out Sei. They're doing this in my second round. I'm up against Sei and Reggie. One of them knows the secrets to the to the particles, to the fancy particles. What if I just went to them and found out the answer? And when he gets back to his hotel room and thinking this over, guess who appears that I thought wasn't in the series anymore? Fucking Caroline is here because she wants to root on her boyfriend, who is Niels, because that's how this works, right? I guess I'm not gonna defend this.
Yeah, please don't.
There is no defending this.
No.
Anyway, we head back over to Ricardo and Kira, who are talking about the next match. And they also go, well, Niels still has his fancy bullshit boot he took out the US champ with. So we still have yet to see him pull that out. But that takes us to that night when Niels decides to meet with Sei and Reggie to pretty much offer a deal of, you tell me the secrets of the particles, and I let you pass the second round. Which they both go, no. And surprisingly enough, Sei is the one aggressive about this.
For a change.
Yeah,
because, you know, Niels is only here for science.
Yeah, because Niels is all like, well, the science and the fancy tech and this and that and the other, and Sei is the one who's just like, motherfucker, you're in a tournament for Gundams. Why? Fuck you. Like, it's just, no. This is a tournament for fighters. you are not one of them because you're not here for the tournament. You're here for your dumb, stupid science. So no, we will see you tomorrow and we will whip your ass. Goodbye. Although they do say that if they lose, they will help Niels because I guess they just feel like it because I'm not sure if either of them actually legitimately know what the hell Niels wants at this point. Like, I know what the answer is, and I also know that neither one of them actually understand what he wants.
I think
or understand how to help him. Of course it did.
And it's not wanting to cooperate with me.
Discord, no.
It's not Discord.
Oh no. What? Wait, what broke?
I said the music.
Oh, the music broke. I just heard you say something broken up, and it's like, oh god, no, Discord broke again. No.
I don't know why I can't get it to refresh either.
I guess let me know when to keep going.
Go ahead. I'm just going to be working on this in the background, apparently.
All right. But anyway, this leads to the next day where we got, say, Reggie versus Niels. And of course, we fight on top of a Japanese castle because why else would we not fight on this arena that is themed after our opponent? Because of course it is. So Niels is only equipped with swords. So they're like, well, our shield's are useless again. And all our guns are useless because he can cut the beams. So let us do how we did against Mao and punch a sword. So pretty much, flip on the RG system, let's build Knuckles something in the face. And I even managed to connect with the swords after a little bit and break them. And fortunately, that's just Niels' other weapon. That's not his primary weapon, because he reveals that he can essentially make the particles in a Gundam explode and cause a Gundam part to explode from the inside out because of fancy martial arts bullshit is the best way to put it. Because he pretty much shatters one of Bill Strike's arms. But unfortunately for Niels, the build knuckle is still strong enough that it causes one of the Astray's arms to explode as well. So now they're down to one arm apiece, and instead of doing anything smart, they decide, let's punch each other again! And they collide again. And now they've blown up both their arms. So now with no arms, Baker decides, oh no, he's losing. Flip the button that says technical difficulties. Give them a minute to fix shit. Because I don't want to disappoint my boss who's not here. Because the chairman's not been here this entire time. He's been somewhere else. I don't know where. So they've got a minute to fix their Gundams. Niels at this point is out for blood because he hates that they've damaged the Astray this much. So he wants their heads regardless of the whole particle situation. But they do get encouragements from their respective girlfriends, in quotations on Niels' part since it's Caroline. But Say just barely makes the clock with the build strike. And as they collide once more, we find out that Say decided, well, you can't explode our Gundam if it has all this plastic cement to make it not move. and is stuck in the one punching pose, I think. So at this point, they lay into each other's. I think Build Strike loses its head at this point. I think. Didn't Build Strike lose its head?
I don't think it did, actually.
Oh, okay. It's got really damaged, just like the Astray's head.
Yeah.
But they keep laying in each other until Say and Reggie manage to dodge one punch or one strike from Niels, and that lets them get in a massive RG built knuckle for an uppercut through the Astray shield into the Astray itself and explode it into pieces, moving them on to the semifinals. Niels afterwards vows to win their next encounter, and they're like, oh, hey, cool, you're a fighter now. You want to just beat people up. Cool. We like you now. We'll help you now. See you later. And I love how Niels is entirely confused by this. But this is when Caroline drops by to be like, hey, I'm happy that you like Gundams now. We also will continue to support you, even though you went behind her back and took sponsorship from a different company. But it's fine. We'll ignore it. I honestly thought because she had one of her gloves, like, in her hand, that she was going to slap him. For the whole behind-the-back betrayal thing, kind of. But that's the episode.
Don't mind me, I'm
Anything?
fixing stuff. Everything broke. Fixing stuff.
Oh no!
Basically, the site went down, is what I figured out. So yeah.
That's not good.
You know what? It can just sit up here. There. Much better.
Anything before we hit the last episode?
Nope.
Alright, so we pick up at episode 20 then, Isla's Portrayal. So we cut over to... What?
I also won't be able to see the notes now. Oops.
That's not good.
I wasn't thinking about what I did there.
What did you do?
It's kind of... The Chrome window's kind of over top of everything. Oops.
Well.
Oh well.
But we're over at the PPSC headquarters as the call comes in of Yuki needs the big one. Even if it's not done testing, deploy the big one that we keep stored in a space station Gundam or Gunpla in a field instead of in just a normal case. Why? I'm confused as to why.
I mean, we've got to have a dramatic way of storing it for the drama person.
I guess you could have it in a tube with all the fancy like screens and stuff showing stats and things. I don't know. I just find it weird that it's in the space station in the field that we just keep active the whole time, because I guess we just deploy it for testing purposes every now and again.
Unless there's some kind of reason why that field is constant up kind of deal.
Maybe. I don't know. Anywho, just for reference, this is the Gundam Exia from a Gundam show. I think I know the name of, but I don't remember it offhand. Anyway, it has a built-in super mode from its series, which is the Trans Am system. Pretty much, it's clock up, except it makes the thing red. So it's the Kaioken from Dragon Ball. Makes sense. Anywho, we cut over to Alia, who's meeting her boss. Or her sponsor, technically, but it's more or less her boss. And his kid, which the kid is the reason she's in this tournament, because the kid wants a world tournament trophy for his birthday. And his grandfather is like, I will get you a trophy, and that is why I've spent all this money getting a fighter to get you a trophy, because
instead of
delusions
just buying a trophy.
Yes, because the delusions of the rich and stupid.
Because, you know, could have just bought the kid a trophy.
Yep. So, this pretty much says everything about Isla's motivations this entire time. Because she's a part of the shithole team that is sponsored by this shithead of a human being. No wonder she can't enjoy any of this, because... yeah, you are with assholes. Legitimate assholes who deserve to be punched. Please be away from them as fast as possible. Thankfully, it's only really for these 2 episodes that we see how terrible they are. But this takes us to the next day as the good chairman's freaking out about saying Reggie still being in the tournament, while Baker hides under the bar in the room, I guess contemplating a career change, because if I'm being honest, I don't know how much I could deal with this whiny asshole.
I mean, yeah.
Without the ever-loving need to slap him.
Yep.
And tell him, grow the fuck up. He doesn't even know who you are. It's okay.
Yep.
But then we cut over to Niels, who's trying to get Reggie to meditate, to find the answers somewhere in his subconscious, which only leads to Reggie falling asleep on him, because the fuck did you expect, Niels?
I mean,
you are...
Hey, Niels realizes that Reggie has, like, the brain capacity of a squirrel, right?
Niels, there is only one brain cell on this team. And it's not in Reggie. It's in Sei, and he has to share.
Like, pretty much the only thing that Reggie knows is punch.
Pretty much. Anyway, at this point, he goes to Sei looking for answers, and Sei's like, well, my dad was a part of the initial testings for the arenas, so... maybe he saw something, and Niels is like, aha! Your dad saw something, which means you might have been there, and you saw something. So I'm going to hypnotize you to make you pull out the memories from back then, because they'll have the answers.
Except Niels is horrible at this.
Except Niels forgot that Sei has one brain cell, and it is chock full of Gundam.
Yep.
Also, we get a nice moment of showing that his dad is still at the closed shop, waiting for Renko to show back up, not realizing that Renko is still at the tournament. Has he not thought that she's there?
Okay. One, there's a reason why Sei only has the one brain cell. 2, at some point, because this has been days now, at some point, would he not have picked up the phone to try to call her?
Yeah.
Or, here's a novel concept, he knows Sei is at this tournament. Call him and be like, hey, is she there?
Oh, I love how we just went, look, the only reason Sei has a brain cell is because of Renko, more or less.
Yeah.
That is the only reason he has one.
Yep.
Because Renko is probably the smartest person in this family.
Yep.
So, With that scene out of the way, Mao decides to drop by and go to moan about his issues with Misaki of being far too stupid and young and stupid. Which leads to Reggie just being like, won't you shut up about that? Which leads to just an argument between all of them. Which apparently Ricardo's hotel room is near them. I think it's below them from how the scene implies.
I believe so.
And he's just like, damn it, I have to fight this Alia chick who's not taking a hit. I don't need this. I'm leaving. So he heads downstairs to go for a ride. And he runs into Raul, who's in the lobby and is just like, sorry, I'm not your girlfriend, I guess. I love how he's just like, you two are dating, aren't you, right? Raul, how do you know?
Okay. Because he has knowledge of all things Gunpla. He has knowledge of all things relationships. At this point, I feel like we need just the final proof of he just has all knowledge.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he rides out. Raul wishes him luck, so he goes off to go do his match. We catch up with Sei, who has now been hypnotized by Niels, and is now quoting all of one character's lines from the original series of Gundam per episode for all 98 episodes. Legitimately. That is what's happened and why the gang misses Ricardo and Ayla's fight.
Well, most of it anyhow.
Yes, they miss most of it except the end. And then the end. Again, this is Sei. What did you expect, Niels? Why are you surprised?
Yeah. And I love that after he realizes that this is happening, that is the moment when Niels is like, oh, I have made a mistake.
Oh no. They have one collective brain cell. I have chosen poorly.
I feel like he probably would have got farther in all seriousness trying to hypnotize Reggie.
Probably.
And I say farther, I don't say he would have been successful.
Like, legitimately, there is collectively one brain cell in this room that is not Niels's, and it is Sei's, and he has to share. Because Mal, I'm sure, doesn't have one either.
I mean, clearly. He's kind of demonstrated that one.
Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, before we get to the match, Kira is interviewing Tina because this can totally not go wrong.
I mean, totally not.
I love how Rinko's here, and I'm pretty sure she's the one who set this up to start with. And I just look at this and go, what did you expect?
Yeah. I feel like you were exactly right on that she was probably the one to set that up. And didn't pay attention to the consequences that were going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the only reason why Sei has the one brain cell.
Yeah. But with all the shenanigans out of the way, it's match time. It's Alia versus Ricardo. And Ricardo has come prepared with his bike because he knows about the funnels now. And he's going to use that to outrun the funnels. Which he does. Because Isla's not thinking about this match. She's thinking about, if I win this, I fight Sei and Reggie, and I don't wanna. And also, I would assume all the good things she's experienced at this tournament are connected to these two people. Because Lord knows she's out of good things to think about, considering her company at the current moment.
I mean, fair.
Anyway, Ricardo uses the fact that we're on a snowfield to create a big old cloud of snow that lets him see all the clear funnels that Ayla uses, and then shoots them all down. So without those, they have to deploy the regular ones, and Ricardo, since he's a really good shot, just pretty much demolishes all of them. At this point, Kira actually makes it to watch the fight because she'll be important in a few minutes. And so do China and Rinko because they won't be as important in the next few minutes. Oh yeah, I also forgot that at this point, Ayla takes her first hit from Ricardo, which is her first hit this entire tournament. Which kind of stuns everyone of like, oh shit, she took a hit.
I mean, granted, though, that was only because she was not focused.
Pretty much. But at this point, the kid is like, no, the Gundam's losing. And then his grandpa's like, no, I'll fix this. And then calls him to her support person. Is just like, fucking fix this shit right now. You fucking turn on the thing and make her win.
You fry her brain. I must win.
So the guy does this with no qualms, mind you. He's just like, well, it's your own fault for this. And I go, fuck you too, asshole. Because she more or less turns on the rage mode of her suit, which overclocks her and the Gundam. Which this causes her to
quite understand what it exactly does.
It's a super mode.
Yeah, a horrible super mode, but yeah.
Yeah. So turning this on, it causes her to let go of the controls, which makes her crash. Ricardo tries to move it for the kill, but unfortunately with the super mode, Alia is stupid fast, so she proceeds to disarm, quite literally by cutting off one of the Fellini's arms, or Finici's arms, and then proceeds to dismantle it quite thoroughly with every single shot. At this point, the gang has finally wrapped up their tour of the original series via says lines from one character, and they are rushing to the stadium. And they make it in time to see Ricardo continue to be dismantled. And everyone's kind of a bit horrified by this. Especially Kira, who calls in to be like, throw in the towel, please. Please stop. Please stop. Which Ricardo responds, and because I've listened to Ty Tuesday's podcast about Gundam Wing, which is what Ricardo's Gundam is based off of, him pulling a self-destruct move is perfectly in character considering his Gundam, because that happens all the time in that series. So Fellini decides, you know what? You want to beat me? Fine. Gets stabbed on Ayla's spear, pulls himself through the spear to her, and then gets his self-destruct button ready because fuck you, you didn't win. But this prompts Kira to pretty much storm the stage and to tell him, you take that L like a man and you fucking like it. And Ricardo, probably being the smartest person of the gang at the moment, goes, I should listen to her, and takes the L. So Alia moves on to the next round. Unfortunately for him, the super mode's kind of fried Alia's brain at the moment, so she's not home now, and she's kind of on autopilot. And unfortunately, autopilot is murder. So she continues to attack the Finichi. But at this point, Reggie actually storms the stage and manages to get into the fight because I guess you're allowed to do that? They didn't lock anyone else out of logging in?
Well, I have to wonder if it's because the match was over.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did fully say that he even conceded the match. So
yeah.
Maybe that's why. Because bear in mind, we did have the big battle on this same arena, so it's not like it doesn't have multiple connectors.
Right. I was just like, why are those not in? Why are you allowing someone else to log in? Also, just as a weird note, because it wouldn't allow all this, why is the match not end at that exact moment?
That's the better question.
Why did the match keep going for an extra couple minutes to let this happen?
Yeah, that's the better question.
But Reggie tries to intervene with his beginning Gundam, and it's immediately shredded in one shot by Isla before the system is finally shut down. Isla actually collapses and her helmet cracks on the pavement, which doesn't mean good for her, since her head would have clanked off of that too. She's gonna wake up with a bad headache, on top of her brain being fried. But because of this crack, when Reggie rounds the corner to go fight Alia, he sees that it's Ina, and he's like, what the fuck? And we are left on the cliffhanger of, oh no, Reggie now finds out Ina is Isla, and Isla is the fighter, and they are facing her next round. Oh no. And that is the other half of our episodes. How'd you feel about them?
I feel like I like them both. I honestly don't have anything bad to say about either of them. They kind of do very good for building each of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, funnily enough, more than can be said about 18.
Yeah, it's a really good pair of episodes that gives us good fights and builds on stuff and progresses things, and also 20 leaves us on the really good cliffhanger of, oh shit, we're gonna go into this fight and both sides know who each other are now. How is this gonna turn out? Like, that is the kind of drama we need going into that fight, because it saves time on the reveal mid-fight. Thankfully. If we could just move on into the rest of the fight. But yeah, 2 more good episodes of Build Fighters, which leaves us 5 episodes left. It's been quite the ride. And I know where this show ends, and I can only say it goes up from here. Like, if you love openings during fight scenes, during pivotal, like, big character fight scenes, congratulations, we got 2 of those waiting for you. And also, neither one is the final fight of the series, even. Like, we're gonna pull the trigger on both of those, and neither of them are even the final fight of the series. They are both just like, here's some big moments that deserve this stuff before we get to the proper final fight. The only problem is how the final fight ends, which is, but it's one of those things of like, well, if we get this and try together as a series going forward, we could actually do this. Because we need this. And because of how Tri set things up, like, it doesn't even have to be the final fight of final fight of that 3rd series. It could literally be a semi-final match, and I'd be okay with it because we are promised 1 fight, and I'm okay with that being the finals. Because it's essentially, what if Sei fought Reggie 2.0, or what if Reggie fought himself? Because that is the main character of Try, is what if we made Reggie the main character? And he is just as much as Reggie in a lot of instances. So it's just like, what if Punch versus Punch? Honestly, I kind of need to see that.
Basically, the whole world would explode.
Pretty much. And yeah, I could definitely see that considering the last fight of Try. But anywho, anything else?
I can't really think of nothing.
All right. Next week, like I said, we'll be back to Sunday and we'll be chipping away at the last 5 episodes of Build Fighters. This week, are you doing anything Wednesday?
I might. That one's still up in the air at the moment.
All right. Well, definitively Thursday, we pick up where we left off on Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Friday will be Luigi's Mansion and a pre-show with me doing the Minecraft stuff for Smashed, since it comes out tomorrow. Also, yes, it comes out tomorrow. Saturday will be the podcast, and I guess either Fall Guys or Ninjala as pre-show. I don't know. One of those two. One of those two things. And that brings us around the last 5 episodes of the Build Fighters. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that follow go. At TeachesDude on Twitter. Gets you updates when we go live. Next link, Discord and chat. Gets a Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. And we'll see you next time, folks.